There are so many programming languages. Some are fast, some are slow, some are complex, while others are quite simple. But from a visual perspective, code often lacks appeal. Just look at it. It looks boring. That's why I decided to create my own language. Instead of using ASCII characters, my language uses emojis as keywords. Here is a quick crash course on how to create your own language. First thing first, we need a Lexer. Treat the source file you write in as a string. We can scan this string character by character. This includes keywords, identifiers, operators and numbers. Once we have the list of tokens, we can work with them more easily. I am going to write my programming language in Golang. Here is a basic implementation of Lexer. As input, we give it a file, and as output, we get a list of tokens. Okay, the next part is Parser. A parser is like a translator. It converts human readable code into a format that computers can understand and execute. The parser takes code that has already been broken down into tokens by the Lexer. It figures out what each part of the code means. For example, let represents a variable declaration, x is a variable name, $sign represents an assignment, and 5+3 is an expression that needs to be evaluated. The parser organizes the code into a structure called an abstract syntax tree. This tree reflects the logical structure of the code. In our case, the parser converts the code into a Lisp-like format that's easier to evaluate. Here is what parsed output looks like. The last part is evaluation. Evaluation is like a computer following a recipe. Let's break it down with a simple example. Here is the parsed version of the code. Here is what happens step by step. The evaluator sees var, that means we are declaring a new variable. Next it sees x, that's the name of the variable. Then it sees this expression. It knows it needs to evaluate the expression on the right side first. So it adds 5 and 3, got the result which is 8, and finally it stores the value inside the variable. That's the basic idea behind how you can build your own programming language. Now let's go back to our emoji-based language. The hardest part is actually creating the Lexer, parser and evaluator. But after that, all you need to do is to replace the sequence of characters that represent keywords or operators with emojis, so the Lexer will recognize them as a part of your language during scanning. So I named my programming language Moji. Moji is an imperative language. It doesn't support object-oriented programming or functional programming paradigms. It also interpreted, which means it runs line by line, unlike compiled language, which are transformed into binary before execution. Here is a syntax summary. Let's create a simple program that defines a variable named age and assigns it the value 18. Then we will write an if statement. As you can see, variables, if statements and operators works as expected. Let's try to create a simple loop. So this program prints a growing triangle of stars. If you would like to explore the full codebase, I will leave a link to the GitHub repository in the description. Thank you for watching, subscribe and see you soon.